How's it, guys?
Good afternoon, everybody. We're gonna get started. Thank you so much for joining us for this chat with Dwaine Pretorius. Just as a reminder to everyone, if you're not asking a question, please ensure that your monitor is muted. And please ensure that you put your request to ask a question on the chat panel, and that you ask one question at a time so that we can give everybody a fair chance to be able to ask. If you'd like to get started, we can go ahead right now. Who'd like to kick us off? Thanks, Zahir.
Hi, Dwaine. Zaria, just last season at the T20 World Cup, you had quite a specific plan at the death bowling. You went wide, and is that something you'll stick to in India, or do you now change it up because people have seen what you do?
I think it's important always to keep developing. So I'm working on a few different plans and strategies. Yeah, so I don't want to give away too much information at the start of the series. But yeah, I'll obviously try and do the best job for the team that I possibly can, whatever that plan might be.
For those followed by Sanele.
Thanks. Hi, Dwaine. Dwaine, I'm just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your experience at the IPL. I mean, it must have been quite interesting just in terms of leadership at the franchise you were at and kind of how things went for you. Maybe you could tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, obviously playing in my first IPL was a great experience. I call it one of my bucket list items. So I'm very, very glad that I got the opportunity to play IPL and then also play for CSK, one of the most successful franchises ever in the IPL. So it was a great experience, really enjoyed every moment of it. It's got a very, a performance-based setup. So you get a lot of responsibility yourself as a player to prepare like you want to, come up with the plans that you believe will work. And then making sure that you actually execute your plans. So I really enjoyed playing under Dhoni as well. And batting with them, seeing the the brand he has in India just shows you how big he is and what he's done for the sport in this country. And yeah, I think it was awesome being a part of that.
Sanele.
Thank you so much, Spogazi. Hi, Dwaine. My question is, stepping away from the team just a little bit, I just wanted to know from you personally, what are your goals? What are you hoping to achieve for yourself personally in this series with India?
Well, obviously, I think to test yourself as a player against some of the best T20 players in the world, which the Indian team definitely is, it's definitely something that I would like to pride myself on, push myself hard to make sure that I make good impacts for the team as well, so that we can win the series. I think from a personal note, for me, it's very important that we win the series, get positive momentum going into the World Cup, and yeah, just establish myself as a hopefully a leading all-rounder in T20 cricket, and that's my personal goal.
Ken.
Thanks, Superkazi. How's it, Dwaine? Dwaine, you guys are obviously pretty experienced in playing on the subcontinent now, but was there anything that came out of the IPL that you feel should be brought into international cricket? Anything new in terms of T20 strategy?
No, I must say we don't necessarily have it in international level, but I do actually enjoy it quite a bit, like the strategic timeout part. I think that is actually quite a cool innovation. I know it obviously makes the game a bit longer, but what it does, it's like, yeah, it just splits the game into three parts, really, the one before and the one in the middle and the one after. I think it gives each team a moment to assess their strategy and what's the best way to go forward, and getting the coaches that always have the objective view from the outside's opinion as well on different situations. So I think it makes the game a bit more liquid, and obviously it breaks some momentum. So even if you might be out of it for the first few overs, you can always come back to it into the game after the strategic timeout. It just breaks the momentum of either the bowling or the batting team. So it makes it quite an interesting thing. That's the biggest thing that I really think was quite cool. Yeah, that's the only thing that really stood out to me.
Raul?
Hi, Dwayne. Looking at the fact that this series is being played in India, which are completely different conditions than what are going to be in the T20 World Cup, how do you then put the importance of this 5-match series for both the teams?
Well, first of all, I think there's a lot of points to that question, but I'm going to try and answer it as short as possible. So firstly, I think every team is probably looking at this series, India and South Africa, to probably put either ticks, question marks, or definites in their book for who's going to go into the World Cup. I think a strong performance from any one of the players in this series can go really far to secure themselves a spot in the World Cup team. So that's on a more of a player note. Then combinations, I think it's important. Measuring strength to strength. I mean, I think India is a very strong T20 side. I think we've gone a very long way in a very strong T20 side. So obviously, if we do well here, we can measure ourselves to one of the best teams in T20 cricket. So to see where we are, what do we need to work on before we get to the World Cup, and then a bit from the IPL, I believe like conditions in India is maybe changing a slight bit. We know Australia's got a bit more bounce, but it's also very true wickets, and it's also good wickets. Apparently the areas that we are going to play at are also good wickets. So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for us to get to know the Indian team if we might play them in the World Cup. So I think there's a lot of benefits that could be had from the series.
Telford, Johan, and then we've got time for one more.
Thanks, Subukazi. How's it, Dwayne? As you said, it was your first IPL, but of course at a illustrious franchise which have won, many of them, and of course it didn't entirely go according to plan this year for CSK. Was there a bit of shock horror about that the wheels fell off as they did?
No, not really. I think a lot. What's nice about the CSK team and franchise and the whole setup is it is very experienced. So I think we all understand that cricket doesn't always go your way, and I think it's really important to just take the positives out of a bad season and try and build for a stronger future, whatever that future might be and whatever the players might be that they look at. It's all about building for the next year or the third year and trying to make sure that a so-called bad season is not a complete loss. So learn lessons, make sure you move forward, and make sure you come back stronger next year. That's the only thing that you can do.
Johan, and then we're going to finish with Percy in Afrikaans.
Hi, Dwayne. Nothing with Dhoni, did you learn something new in chasing runs or finishing?
Yes, I think I mentioned it in one of my interviews that I had after that game against Mumbai. The biggest thing that I learned from him is how calm he is at the crease, and how much he tries to take pressure off himself and try and put it onto the bowler. So he made me realize that actually in the death, the batter isn't under more pressure. It's actually the bowler that is under more pressure. You can still lose the match if you had to defend 18 in the last three balls, and as a batter you can actually win it. So it was a fresh mindset, and also the calmness he tries to keep. He doesn't get too excited, he doesn't get too down on himself. Anything is always possible, and I love that about him. He's very optimistic. He believes he can do anything. So I'm going to obviously try and bring that into my game, the calmness, but also that self-belief that from any position, any game can be won.
And Percy.
Thank you so much, Subukazi. Goeiemôre, Dwayne. Dwayne, ek het altyd 'n moeilike taak om 'n speler te vra om 'n hele perskonferensie op te som in Afrikaans, maar kom ek vra net kortliks. Net ter opsomming net in Afrikaans weer. Jou ervaring in die IPL, meneer, hoe was dit vir jou persoonlik geweest en hoe belangrik gaan hy ervaring wees om oor te dra in hierdie reeks teen India? En dan net jy het ook in Engels moet verduidelik die belangrikheid van hierdie reeks in die aanloop tot Australië, die Wêreldbeker.
Okay, eerstens die IPL en ja, it was obviously awesome om deel te wees van die IPL my eerste keer. Het is een van my, ek weet nie hoe sê mens hierdie woord in Engels, in Afrikaans, maar my bucket list items. So dis definitief iets wat ek baie graag wat in my hele lewe lank al, vanaf ons het begin kyk het, toe ek seker wat 20 was of 19 was, toe het begin het, dit was rarig awesome om in my eerste een te wees. Dan die tweede vraag was gewees hoe hierdie sou help met die Wêreldbeker, nee.
Die belangrike van die reeks in India en dat hoe dit gaan help in die aanloop tot die Wêreldbeker toe.
Yes, ja, soos ek dink hierdie reeks is baie belangrik in terme van die Wêreldbeker. Ek dink dit is van hier af is daar 'n paar wedstryde waar die span saam kan speel, saam kan gel, voordat ons by die Wêreldbeker uitkom. So ek dink dis die eerste ding wat goed is. Ons kan tyd saam met mekaar kry en ons kan sien wat se kombinasies werk en wat se spelers in sekere situasies die beste is. En dan obviously wil ons graag seker maak dat ons planne in plek begin stel sodat ons daai planne kan bemeester, sodat ons seker maak dat wanneer ons by die Wêreldbeker kom dat ons dit kan doen. En ek dink ons baie ouetjies wat in die IPL nou gespeel het wat goeie informasie sal deel met die hele span in terme van wat spelers kyk om te doen in sekere posisies en ook wat se planne ons vir hulle in plek kan stel.
Baie dankie.
Is that it? Thank you so much, Percy. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll chat to you in a couple of days' time, and just a reminder that I'll be sending out content from the team tomorrow. We won't have Percy. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Baie dankie.
Bye, everyone.